Hi friends, another simple sewing tutorial for you. Today I will teach you how to sew a quilt without any special foot in your machine with simple straight line stitch. These are quilting done with block quilted top fabric of 2.5 inch square and 4.5 inch square blocks, which I taught you in one of my previous videos, and I'll link it again in the description box. And this is quilting done with simple solid fabric as the quilting top fabric. You can also use printed top fabric, and as a beginner I would suggest you use only cotton fabric until you have enough practice. So let's get started. First we'll quilt with a 2.5 inch block quilted top. Apart from this, we require a foam sheet of low density and 4 mm thickness and a lower lining fabric. Now the dimensions of your foam sheet and the lining should always be at least ½ inch more than the upper quilt top fabric for all the shrinking in the quilt as you sew due to tension. And now first we pin up all the 3 layers together all over properly, and then along any 2 adjacent edges of this quilt sandwich we give a L-shaped straight line stitch just like this, with a few back stitches in the beginning and at the end. For quilting we always keep the stitch length at the maximum of 5, and so. So this is how it looks now. Next, along all the block quilt top seams, we are going to give straight line stitch first along the vertical seam lines, then along the horizontal seam lines by constantly easing the tension in the quilt sandwich with our hands to avoid any crease or puckers for that neat finish. In fact, it is much easier to quilt when the top fabric has quilt blocks, because then the seam lines for quilting already exist. You just have to follow them with back stitches at the beginning and at the end of each line of seam, and the quilting is done just like this. Now we trim off the excess fabric and thread from all 4 sides. So this is how our quilt looks finally. Now let's make a quilt with plain fabric top, a foam sheet and a printed cotton fabric lining. So first I draw my reference seam lines for quilting using a ruler and a sewing chalk, drawing very light impressions of the chalk which will wash off easily later. I am going to make a 2.5 inch square grid for my quilting seams just like this. And then for the quilt sandwich, I first place the lining fabric with wrong side up, then the foam sheet, and then the quilt top fabric with the wrong side down. And then after pinning the sandwich together, I follow the same method as the previous quilt. First the L-line stitch along 2 adjacent edges, and then stitching along the lines of the grid drawn. Always back stitching at the beginning and at the end of each seam line. Again, we trim off the excess fabric and thread. So now we are ready for very many exciting sewing projects with these quilts. So don't miss my next video when I shall bring an exciting sewing project with one of these quilts. If you like my tutorial, then like, share and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon for future notifications and updates. See you next time. Bye.